The Dodge Charger, like all Smith kits, uses aluminum 6061 crossbars to support the bed floor. After you have assembled your front tray, and you can see the front tray is assembled here with the 4 bolts holding the tray to the floor. The first bar is 14.75 inches behind the front tray bend mark. So this bend mark right here, I have it set up from the rear to the front. So 59 inches on the tape measure. If we followed it all the way down, 0 is going to be in the middle of the last bar in the rear, and 59 will be right about on the wear line where the press brake leaves a remnant line there. So each bar is about 14.75 inches center to center away from the bar in front of it. So 59 inches is the last one, 44.25 is bar number 2, bar number 3, 29.5, and all the way back to the front. The last 2 bars are mounted to CNC cut pierces in the side of the bed, so you're not really going to position those. On early models, like I have here, one of the first 10, the crossbar is actually about 12.5 inches from the rear bar, and there's a slightly larger opening here to get the battery out and things like that. That was later changed to 14.75 center to center. So I clipped the bars to the bottom of the rear inner fenders. So I put the fenders in first. I clip the bars like you see here. And then the mounts to mount the bars are right here. This one is a 90-degree bend. You can see the bottom of the bend is 90 degrees. There's a spacer, the Delrin or the plastic wood, composite spacer. So this one on the front side is 90 degrees and very narrow. It's a 1-inch bend. That gets riveted to the floor. This one has a bend to it, so you're going to see a slight more than 90 or less than 90 bend. You sandwich them in the composite left to right, and that's how the floor support bar is mounted. The next one, forward bar 2, has 2 90-degree brackets. It looks like it's mounted about 3/8 of an inch behind the notch there. And you can see the notch, these little plates that come with the kit. There's a small notch, and then there's a backing plate. Basically, the piece that we're giving you is a spacer plate that fills that gap. And then this bar right here goes underneath it to mount everything together. So on this particular car, you can see there's your backing plate. You flush rivet that in place, and then you mount your spacer plate on top of it. You just set it right down on there. So that gives you an idea of how the crossbars are mounted on the Charger. Each Smith kit has these bars. They're mounted slightly different in each model. The last thing you have to know is mounting the rear inner fender. Here's the inner fender. And this edge right here on the inner fender kind of just floats in space unless you put the spacer plate underneath it. So this plate that you see here, you'll see this in the kit, a very small 1-inch one and then a 2-inch backing plate. This plate here rivets just like this as a spacer and a connector plate to mount this plate here. So basically this is going to see, you can see the ridge there. That's going to set up flush underneath that edge, and you're going to rivet all of that together. So you'll have a rivet here and here. And then you'll do, I do 3 of them each side, and that gives you the bracing that's required to hold that rear edge in place. So that's it. Crossbars, supports. In the Charger, none of the crossbars have to be removed to remove the spare. The spare can be lifted straight out the rear of the car for changing a flat.